People are very connected to the sounds around them. Specific sound environments facilitate different feelings and activities. Though all environments have a unique soundscape, some locations have been carefully curated to create specific types of acoustic environments to invoke these kinds of emotions and behavior. Many people are connected to the sounds around them and actively engage with their soundscape through listening experiences, like in concert halls. While some environments have been carefully curated to create specific soundscapes, some sounds are not intentionally created for an environment, but can still have great impacts. Some loud areas, like airports, have regulations about how close people can live in proximity to them because of how disruptive they are acoustically. There are lots of laws about how loud people are allowed to be in residential areas, and those regulations differ depending on where you are and what time it is. For example, most areas require you to be quieter in the nighttime than during the daytime. Like many animals use sound to communicate, we as humans also rely on acoustics to communicate. Some cultures have more acoustic connection to their environments due to their oral traditions, linguistics, and heritage. Soundscape is something that humans not only listen to, but actively participate in creating, both intentionally and unintentionally. Soundscape is the basis for human language and music, and is greatly influential to many cultures across the globe, especially those that rely heavily on oral traditions of communication and expression. The acoustic history of a culture includes the expression of many elements of community, including linguistics. The continent of Australia provides an interesting lens as a case study in soundscape and connections. There, text as a form of communication was not used until only roughly 200 years ago, and thus they have a very strong history of oral traditions. The modern soundscape of Australia is one that has changed greatly from influences of European colonization and from other immigrant cultures. Ross Bant explains that these acoustic changes are a never-ending process essential to the changing identity of Australia, a massive cultural and social experiment. The constantly changing sound environments in Australia reflect its buoyant cultural diversity. Sound inscribes place. It tells what is present and absent.
I'm a descendant of the Jara people. We're here to give everybody a welcome to country this afternoon, and I hope you all enjoy listening to the environment of the Jara bush. Okay, thank you.
The Yara Yara community, indigenous to Australia, have an ancient history of listening to their environment, and has heavily relied on oral traditions isolated from outside influence for tens of thousands of years, until the British entered the land. Ancient traditions to acoustics are not the only connections that humankind has with soundscape, though. Soundscapes are relevant everywhere, not only in natural places, but also in developed urban environments, and even raised and barren war zones, which can have impacts on the physical and mental health of the inhabitants of those environments. The traumatic conditions of war affects many people, who can be left with lasting conditions like post-traumatic stress disorder that may be triggered by acoustic events similar to those in these dangerous environments. Dr. Janine Clark explains in their research about music, resilience, and soundscaping some reflections on the war in Ukraine that ecologists study acoustic ecology, also referred to as soundscape studies, as a way to assess the impact of environmental disturbances and to gauge the resilience of complex ecosystems in responding to shocks and stressors. In order to soothe fear in times of unrest, people have oftentimes turned to altering their immediate soundscape in order to help take themselves out of the distressing situation. The effects of one's acoustic environment have significant impacts on their inhabitants, even in less intense locations than war zones. In fact, some urban environments have considered the importance of soundscape and green spaces for social and mental health. Xiang et al. Found in their study about soundscapes and urban green spaces that soundscape diversity significantly influenced sound preference, perceived effective quality, and the overall soundscape assessment, especially in traffic noise-dominated and natural sounds-dominated green spaces. The soundscape of an environment is so critical to its function that we as humans have even curated specific environments to do nothing but listen. Concert halls and composers, while sometimes seemingly distant from the natural world, have evolved to the way they are now by experimenting with different instrumentation and natural listening environments. Location and environment play a significant role in listening, composing, performing, and recording. In fact, the act of composing is effectively curating a unique sound environment for the listener, which can be enhanced and changed through the venue they are experienced, whether that be through the Red Rocks Outdoor Natural Amphitheater in Colorado, a symphony concert hall, a religious cathedral, or even a pair of headphones hooked up to Spotify.